Howdy y'all, welcome back to Cam Shack Productions. I am really stoked to be sharing some what I think is very great news with all of you. For those of you that are new to the channel or maybe haven't seen, one of the biggest videos that I've had on my channel actually goes through and I try to describe what it was like to try to get a filming permit in the national park. I'll leave a link right here if you want to check that video out. But I'm coming to you with some news that I think a lot of us are really excited about, and this is actually going to talk about some of those things in that video. Right now, a representative out of Arizona just got the Explore Act passed, bipartisan bill passed through Congress. And this Explore Act actually does a lot of really good things to what I consider kind of hold the National Park Service accountable. It's going to build some consistency and make it easier for those of us that don't work inside of the national park system to understand what's going on. It's going to pretty much do away with the filming permits, which we'll get into the details of that here shortly. And C, it is going to make the National Park Service actually provide us with information, maps, and some ways that we can access these public lands, which I think is a really great thing. Again, this is the Explore Act. It just passed through Congress. It has now moved on to the Senate. It is sitting there. They should also be passing this. If you're really feeling froggy, get out, make a phone call, send an email to your senator, make sure that they pass this. Then it will go to the president and hopefully be signed into law. So if you are a filmer, if you are somebody that is a YouTuber, or even if you just want to be able to post your stuff on social media once you get out of a national park because you're going with your family, don't cancel your trips. This could actually be something that's going to give us the opportunity. And again, in my mind, it makes a lot of sense. This is really, really a simple way to do this. And I have to give kudos to those that put this bill out there. I think this is a really, really great thing to, again, kind of make us all understand and keep the National Park Service on one even keel so that process goes for everybody and is the same for you, me, and everybody else instead of all this subjective national park stuff that goes on all the time. But let's get into what actually is going down for those of us that are content creators, those of you that have a YouTube channel or social media, TikTok. This is really good news for you. So let's dive into what the actual filming side of this whole Explore Act actually is. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this. All right, so I don't want to get too far into this bill. I will leave a link to the actual text below so that you can go read into it, because this actually does a lot of really cool things. But what I think is the most important for me personally is that no permit will be required for people that are filming. Individuals fewer or groups fewer than 6, you will not need a permit anymore. And you will have to meet some requirements, which they say are described in paragraph 5 in the bill, but we'll get to that. It's actually stuff that we really pretty much all understand. This is also a way to make sure that if you're out and you're filming and something spontaneous happens, you can actually capture that, post it on social media, and not get hit with a huge fine. So the number of individuals is really important. So if you are up to 6 people in a group, or just like me, I'm going out by myself, you are not required to have a filming permit. Similar to what they have set up with still photography, right? You were always able to go out and shoot photos, and you can actually even sell those photos without a permit as long as you're not basically disturbing general park business. So what does that mean? If you have up to 6 people, you don't need it. 7 and 8 people, which is kind of a weird number, right? You will require a permit if there are up to 7 or 8 of you. But that permit should not require a fee, and that permit should not be denied as long as you're not doing what is the next step, which is 9 people and up. And those would be considered a full commercial filming where you would need a permit. You would need to go in, you need to fill out that authorization. But some of the really good things about this is you will be able to do that online. You will be able to get an answer either immediately for the 7 and 8. They're going to just grant you the permit is what it sounds like in reading the text. And if you're in that 9 and up and you're commercially filming, You will be charged because, again, you're probably going to have sets, you're probably going to have crews. You are a commercial filming entity that should be paying just like you would in a city or something like that. But for those of us that are actually out there, we're on our own, we're in this, and we're making monetized material, they're saying that you will no longer need a permit. You will no longer need to go through this process, and you will be able to take photos and videos, again, as long as you're not impeding park processes. For example, you can't go into an area that is off limits and film there and think that you're going to be okay. First of all, you're going to be putting it on YouTube or social media. You're a moron. You shouldn't do that anyway. But you really will, you're not allowed to go into areas that are closed. You are not allowed to tell people they've got to move out of your shot. If you're in a really prominent view place, you can't tell people, hey, you have to leave. I'm sorry, but I'm getting my shot. If you've ever been to Arches and you wanted to try to get a photo out at Arches, or even some of the Canyonlands arches that are out there that are really popular, there is a line of pro photographers that just start yelling at people, and that's not cool. So you can't block off areas. You can carry a tripod. You can't have a 3-light setup like I have set up around me here, but you could have a small handheld light. You could have your tripod. You can have your gimbal. You can have your mic. You can't have a giant boom mic. Again, it's a small operation, right? But you can turn your camera and film the viewpoint and not get hit with a fine, which is great. I'm really, really excited about this. For those of you that are thinking about, taking a group out and you want to be able to get that permit for the 7 or 8 individuals, all of the same rules apply. You can't block the spaces. You can't have a ton of gear. You can have your tripod. You can have a handheld light, a flash, something like that. But that is going to be available online for automatic approval, or you will be able to actually walk into the visitor center of one of those places and get that permit right then and there. And it basically says you can't be denied. Now, again, folks, if we go out and we blow this, this is going to backfire in our faces. Don't go out there and be a jackass. Please go out, be responsible. Realize that you're at a national park and you want to protect this place. You just want to share it with people, and you want to be able to show off all the great places that you've gone, or all of the cool things that you get to see, or maybe even share it with people that aren't going to get there. So this is great news. This is a huge, huge victory as far as I'm concerned. There's also some really cool things for people like me that are photographers or videographers, that talks about, in the past, if you were going to a wedding, maybe there was a wedding reception in a national park, you had to apply for a separate permit to be able to shoot that wedding. Now what they're saying is that all of that wedding, because that wedding has to have a permit to be in the park anyway, that encompasses your photographer, your videographer. Again, as long as you're not bringing in giant sets, you don't have multiple lights running around, you don't have a bunch of stuff in the way, you don't have teleprompters, and you're going in, you're filming what's happening at the park, you're not disturbing other guests, you're getting your content, you're not being a jackass, you're not doing something stupid, you're just getting in and you're getting out. So I think it's really cool. I'm pretty stoked about this, not to mention all the other really great things that they are doing in this bill. And like I said, I will leave a link to the text down below. Please hit up your senator. Make sure you leave a phone call or an email and let them know that this is something you want to see them do, and you want to see them do it soon. This is actually government working to help us kind of take control. It really is kind of evening the playing field and making sure that the National Park Service is telling us and communicating with us, not in these backdoor secret, maybe you'll get your permit, maybe you won't, So really, I'm stoked. To all of the Congress people that voted for this, well done. Cheers to you. I'm really, really happy about this. And like I said, they do some really cool things for veterans in this bill. There's a lot of really, I think, again, it's kind of taking that stuff that I talked about in that last video about being more, let's work together, instead of I'm here, you're here, we're not going to tell you anything, and you're going to be responsible to know everything that happens inside of here. It's basically saying, hey, Secretary of the Interior, you need to lay out guidelines for people if you want them to follow rules. And I'm really, really stoked about this. So, y'all, this is great news. Don't cancel those summer trips. Get out there, get into those national parks, get your photos, get your videos, post them all over the place. Show people what an amazing, amazing place we live in and how incredible these national parks are. And, you know, again, think about all of the places that are considered national parks. This is forest. This is all of our basically federal lands. This is going to apply to all of it. So there's not all these weird subsections working against each other. And I couldn't be happier. So way to go us. We did it, y'all. I am super, super stoked about this. This is a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Get this passed. The Explore Act is something we want to see happen. Y'all, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for all the great comments from my other video. And thanks for having a really good dialogue about this stuff. I think this is important, and you know, we got to stand up for what we believe in. Otherwise, we'll lose the stuff that we kind of, you know, put on the back shelf and forget about a lot of the time. So if you did enjoy this video, please go down and hit the like button. If you're feeling super generous, subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you all back in the next video. That's right, getting back to the desert. Got a lot of cool trips planned. Yeah, national parks. I can't wait. Yeah, I can't believe it took this long. So stupid. Way to go, way to go, way to go. I was so close to making it. So close.